Hi guys, it's KJ from Forward Life Coaching. I want to say thank you so much for joining us today. I'm here with Coach MarQus Johnson from St. Augustine College. He is actually the head basketball coach. He is a hometown hero. Let me tell you a little bit about MarQus Johnson. And we also have T. Taylor. T. Taylor is the owner of a basketball team, a semi-professional basketball team, and she'll tell you about that as well as we move forward. Let's talk about MarQus right now. MarQus, he started locally. He started at Nightel, East Wake High School? East Wendell. Yes. East Wendell, thank you. East Wendell High School. I know how we get to it. I've taught there too. At East Wendell High School. And actually, he is a high scorer. He scored 1,577 points while in high school, right? So yes. Beyond that, he went on to Central. And for Central, he was the team captain for 3 years. Am I correct?
Correct.
And he also brought them to 3 CIAA championships?
Divisional championships.
3 CIAA divisional championships. Then Okay. And then also he has worked with St. Augustine and he has worked with Central University, North Carolina Central University. When he coached at, he coached David Young, who was later selected to play for the Seattle Seahawks. Am I correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And he has also coached at St. Augustine to 2 CIAA championships.
One CIAA championship.
Okay, CIAA championship game, and he has also earned a national where they also earned a national ranking of 25 within the top 25.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And the Falcons Powerhouse 3-shooter team ranked 5th out of 12 teams in the category.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so we've heard about the phenomenal job that you've done with bringing in talent so that the university can, these universities that you work with and the coaching staff have excelled under your leadership. And one of the things I was reading, when I was reading about you, I read your quote on being prepared. And I just thought that was so awesome. Let me see if I can find that. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me just, in 2 seasons, he coached the St. Augustine Falcons to a 25-2 season and the Continental Basketball League Championship. Okay, his team was also the runner-up in the Tobacco Road Basketball League. He is also coach in the CIAA Final Four games and the CIAA championship game. Am I correct?
Yes. The Tobacco Road was with the Cary Invasion.
With the who?
Cary Invasion.
What is the Cary Invasion? I kept seeing Invasion, and I was like, MarQus is the man. He's bringing an invasion. What is the Cary Invasion then?
It was a semi-pro basketball team out of Cary that we played in Tobacco Road Basketball League.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about semi-pro. When you say semi-pro, talk to me about it.
Semi-pro is similar to what T is doing with her team, where you're not actually with the NBA, but you are playing professionally because you are at times sometimes getting paid, but not the same amount as the NBA. So it's kind of like the minor leagues of basketball.
And where is the talent coming from for this?
It could come from all over the country, all over the world. Mostly though, it's local talent from the local universities.
Wow. So T Taylor. T. Taylor is the owner of also another semi-professional basketball team. So T, tell us.
Stop and correct you there. The NBA and the ABA are the only 2 professional basketball leagues in the United States. So if you play for the ABA, you're actually considered to be a professional basketball league. They both started at the same time. And the only difference was that the NBA got the network deal. And of course, they grew, but the ABA still exists and still exists under the title of professional basketball.
Okay. So tell us about your team.
I am the owner of the RDC Vulcans. That stands for Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill. So we take the triangle. And my team is the first team in the state of North Carolina to actually exist within the NBA. Prior to that, there was the Cougars, and they actually played out of North Carolina and South Carolina. So they reside in South Carolina currently. And so I would be the first owner of a professional basketball team coming out of North Carolina. Or, well, when you look at the NBA, of course they existed, but our existence went back prior to that. And my team is just set up to give players a second chance. Players who didn't make it to play 4 years in college, or if you exhausted your eligibility, you have a chance to play, a chance to place nationally, and then that gives you the opportunity to go overseas to try out for the NBA G League, or possibly go straight to the NBA tryouts. Sometimes when players are hurt, I might get a call from the G League, from the NBA, and they might want them to play for a season or two in the ABA until they can perform at their greatest peak where they were prior to the injury.
Well, MarQus, you're both ABA teams, right? You're both talking about ABA teams. Am I correct?
Similar. What T is a little higher with the ABA than what we were. We were a level under the ABA.
And what is your league called? What was your league called?
It was called the Tobacco Road Basketball League.
Oh, okay.
It was more.
And
regional.
yours would be the ABA league? More regional? Okay. So your talent would come from regional. And T, your talent comes from where?
It can come from anywhere. I've received calls from colleges, even students who did not go to college, and perhaps they're high school players. Our talent, well, we have a draft, and I'll go to the draft where there are NBA drafters, and I'll pick players from those combines, things of that nature.
Well, I mean, like geographically, would they come from just North Carolina? Do they typically come from other areas, or?
No, I've had players from far as Philadelphia, far west as Chicago, and as far as south as Florida.
Okay, cool. So with this in mind, this opportunity, is this an opportunity that, MarQus, maybe you would even send some of your players to, some of your St. Augustine players to, post-college or for cross-training or something like that?
Yes, I will always introduce them to every opportunity for them to play professionally. And me and T and I have a good relationship where if my guys were, willing or, were good enough to come play for her, they're more than welcome. And I always try to give them that opportunity to show them that there are other avenues besides just the NBA.
Absolutely.
There's a high percentage of individuals that plan on playing in the NBA or plan on playing professional sports. I think it's 64% of individuals want to play professionally, and they have that mindset when they go into college and during college. How many of your players or how many, out of the people that you've coached so far, how many people would you say are aspiring to play professionally or just doing it, for leisure time while they're in school, relaxation? Like, what do you think is the mindset of a lot of college students when they come to play for you?
I think it's more than likely 100% of the guys would like to play professional basketball, whether it be minor league and the ABA, the NBA, or overseas. I think all my guys will look to try to play. Now, they understand the odds are not great, but at the same time, they're willing to put in the work to try to reach their goals and their dreams.
Can you tell, is there a certain point in time when you say, look, you know what, they're not really seeking to play pro anymore, they're just playing casually? Is there something that you've seen in the past traditionally that's happened?
At times, yes, you could tell that their drive and their work ethic changes over time. To where they'll realize that, the one thing players do not understand it at first is that when you exchange money, it becomes a business. And they don't quite understand the business side of basketball and the professional sports. So when they do finally sometimes realize that, sometimes their work ethic is not the same, to where they'll just think, well, you know what, I could just go graduate and then start to go my working career. which is fine as well. But for the most part, my guys try to reach their goal, and I try to help them reach their goal as much as I can.
MarQus, you are doing a phenomenal job. I mean, like I heard about, or I read about, sorry, I didn't hear about it, or maybe I did listen to the video, I don't know, but I read about where you are actually bringing in a mental health professional once a month to work with your students, because you're concerned about mental health as well as physical health in their performance. You're looking at well-rounded players, and I really admire that you are doing that for your team. What led you to this? Was it COVID? Was it pre-COVID?
It's pre-COVID. I've always talked with my guys about, life is about 10% what happens to you, 90% of how you handle it and deal with it. And how we handle and deal with things is the mental side of it. And I always try to bring in a mental health professional to talk with the guys, the mental side of the game, because at this point in time and this level, everybody's talented, physically. It's the mental side is going to separate players, good players from great players. And then especially this year, I definitely had to bring somebody in more because I didn't bring them in as much before as I've done this past year, just because of the COVID and having the pause and not being able to play basketball as much as they've been able to in the past year. So that took a toll on a lot of players. It took a toll on me. It's the first time in 38 years I haven't did anything with basketball as far as practice. And I even had to talk to somebody about it because it's tough. So that was one thing about it. The guys are really receptive to it, and they actually, some of them reached out to that individual outside of the time that we had spoke. So I thought that was great on their part.
Oh, phenomenal. Because, mental health has a stigma in the African-American community. So let me ask you something with regards to you and COVID and mental health and et cetera. Has COVID impacted your team?
So it has definitely, because when you look at what the NBA selected to do, they pulled all their players, quarantined them, and once everyone was quarantined, then they played within, I'm going to say a bubble because they were all together. And the ABA is not on the same league. The NBA took off, so we don't have that financial background. So that's COVID put a hold on our season, and we haven't been able to play since we ended our season in February of 2020.
Wow. So MarQus, being a local person, right? High school RTP, please forgive me, college RTP, coaching RTP, I'm quite sure you have access to some resources, or, some people, oh, I know MarQus when he was little and that kind of stuff that other people wouldn't have access to. And I found your quote. It says, "Chance favors the well-prepared," by Louis Pasteur, right? Mm-hmm. How much do you think having that network and that hometown support has helped you with preparedness for you in your life? Because I would like for you to tell us a little about you and COVID personally, your personal story, but also how it has helped you coach your team or coax your team through this process, having more, more local resources that they can channel to help to get the support that they need.
I think it's helped me tremendously, just knowing certain people in certain areas that I can tap into to help in any way that that can be helped. I think the other day we've had a few local people come by to sanitize our gym and our weight room that normally, we probably wouldn't have had that if I hadn't been around here to know those type of individuals, to where they would like to do just good things for us just because of the relationships. And I think that's the biggest thing that's happened as far as being a local guy, is that the relationships that I've built over the years, and not only through basketball, but just through family and life and just friends in general. I think it's been very beneficial to me.
They want to see you succeed. They want to see you succeed. They're all around you. Like, yeah. Go MarQus. Yes. So how do you think, I think I read that you had a personal story of COVID.
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did get COVID in July. And it was a tough 2 to 3 weeks. But I was actually my brother and I had it at the same time, and we call ourselves a survivor, COVID survivors. And it's I will say that I'm a testimony to the guys to let them know that, look, this is nothing to play with. It's a serious illness and a virus that you definitely have to take the precautions and do everything that you need to do to be safe.
How'd you find out? How'd you figure out that you had it, or what were some of the symptoms that were leading to it?
First, it was just a cough, but I thought it was just a regular cough because I've been sick in the summertime before. So, and I took some.
And see, people laugh when I walk away. When I see people coughing and I walk away, they're like, "Oh, no, I'm not crazy. I know what the signs are." you cough, I'm moving away.
Right. But one thing about it, my brother went in and he tested positive, and I was just around him like maybe 5 days prior to that, and I just happened to say, you know what, let me go get tested and let me just check, and then my results came back positive, and then I went into quarantine for 14 days, and that is the toughest 10 to 14 days I've ever had, because you're by yourself and nobody's around, nobody wants to come around, and so it takes a toll on you. It does take a toll, but I was able to survive it and get better, and I'm here.
You had the cootie.
It was something like that. My mom and sister brought food over, but they left it on the porch, and then they just said, "Hey, you get it when you get it, but we're not coming in." So I was like, "Okay."
What's going through your mind with basketball during that time period? Because I know you have a time to think about a lot of things. I know when stuff happens to me, look, I'm not Catholic, but look, I want to go get my rosary beads and be like, "I'm sorry, whatever it is, Lord, please forgive me. I won't do it no more." But what's going through your mind about, like, when I get out, I'm a survivor, and I'm gonna do this because I'm a survivor? What were you thinking?
Well, it's hard to really put it in words about how it really is, and you're a little bit more cautious now. You are more aware of your surroundings and what other people are doing, and what I did realize is that we are, as a society, we're not that clean. I mean, we're not that clean.
I know. If you just wash your hands.
so that's what I have.
So that means some folks were washing their hands and cooking your food too. So
right. So you observe a lot more, and then you stay home more, because it's like I'd rather be home and cook my own food than to go out and worry about how they're cooking the food.
I start looking at the kitchens now. And the funniest thing is, I would go to some places. I don't know, T, if you saw this, but would you go to some places and sometimes see people cooking without masks? Or they have the mask down here? And if they had the mask down here, I was like, I'm not hungry anymore. I wouldn't eat it. I mean, what did you feel? What were you going through with you and your team, T, during this time period? I know you're off season, but you're coming back. How are you coming back?
Well, I pretty much followed the quarantine rules. I didn't go out much. I only went out for necessities, and it's just been a self-reflection time for me. So I'm in the house most of the time, and I'm good with it. Of course, in March, everything closed, and my kids were home, and I like my kids, so I enjoyed my time with my children. Unlike some people and families that were just fighting, we had a good time together, and we did a lot of bonding. And because my children are all college students, it may be the last time that we all had that opportunity. So it was a reflective time for me. I did not go out to eat, so I haven't witnessed people. I'm still baby steps before I don't go to the gym to work out. I cancel my membership. I do it at home. It's just baby steps for me. I'm just not ready.
So MarQus, going back into the season, because now we're opening up, right? We can do a little bit more, and I heard you're going to start doing some more practicing, or your team's doing practicing, which is needed based on the level of injuries or the number of injuries that happened last year. due to people not having the strengthening, the training, and somebody monitoring them while they're practicing. So my question to you is, post-COVID, what do you think you're going to do differently? How are you going to respond differently? What gaps have you seen that you need? What gaps have you seen like, oh my God, I'm just going to tweak this to make sure that we are safer, more effective, more this? What's your mantra?
Well, one thing that we do now is, well, we were doing it before, was we keep a lot of hand sanitizer around in the gym. And I think also too is right now is that guys haven't been able to play or practice or do anything for really 8 months. So they are really out of shape, and you try to take it slow with them now to get them to build their lungs back up and their muscles back up to be able to run and jump and not have any type of injury. So right now it's just a matter of just taking some things slower and more calculated than we were before. And I think that's one thing that we all like and dislike about the COVID is that it made us slow down. It made us think. It made us, like T said, reflect.
Appreciate.
So there, yeah, exactly. Appreciate a lot more. So therefore, we're taking things slow, and I'm not rushing it. Like I tell them all the time, like Rome wasn't built in a day. So we're going to take our time. We have all the way to August to get ready. So we'll be fine, and there's no need to try to be in a hurry to do anything.
Right, and there's no hurry with academic because now the NCAA is allowing people to stay extended amount of time. So there's really a lot of the traditional pressure is off. And with that being said, I know that one of the things that sometimes people are challenged with is like that whole like the whole neuroplasticity, like that even though you've overcome something, making sure that you're not mentally still living in the past. So some people who may not have been able to perform during this time off, they may still be mentally thinking about what they can't, or they may be over projecting, like, I'm superhero, I can do this, but reality is their body is not there. Do you know what I mean? Right. So where we are mentally may not be where we are physically. So I'm quite sure that may be a challenge also coming forward with regards to just making sure the two of them are intertwined, right? Right. And at the same level, right? Right.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it. Like physically, that we're not where we need to be right now. So I know mentally they're ready. They want to get in the gym. They want to work. They want to do things. But we still have to follow CDC guidelines and NCAA guidelines. So it's challenging, but we're up to the challenge, and we're just taking things slow right now.
As a hometown hero, are you now able to pull in some of those supports or work with some of the people locally to do more things, whether it be leisurely, as a distraction from, the excitement about starting to play, like some things that you can do locally, some community service? Like, are you involved in anything else that can help them through this process, or that can help athletes through this process?
Well, right now we've kind of taken we went slow with that aspect too because of the COVID. We don't want our guys to contract the virus, so therefore we haven't done a whole lot of community services I've wanted to that we normally do in the past, that we've done in the past. So we've taken those things slow too and calculated, because we're kind of in a semi bubble to where we don't want them to do too much outside of the realm of the team.
Okay. Is there anything that you can say that you will be looking for in your next recruiting season? Is there, based on what you've observed during this COVID period, the post-COVID, is there anything that you can say if somebody's like, look, I want to play for you, I want to play for Coach Johnson? What are some of the things that you will be looking for in the next batch of recruits?
Basically, guys have just been playing because there's been a lot of teams that have paused and taken breaks. But also, talking about the character and the mental side of, are they mentally tough enough to go through the rigors of the college season? So, it's just, we haven't changed much about how we're going to recruit. It's just the main thing right now is just finding guys and taking a look at guys that have been playing, and do they fit what we're trying to accomplish at St. Aug?
What about you, T? How are you going to recruit post-COVID? Is there anything in particular that you're looking for in your athletes?
I'm going to agree with Coach Johnson in that we're looking for, of course, people who players who kind of continue some level of physical training throughout this time. This has been a long break. We're talking a year. So we're going to kind of carry them out the same way that we have been. I don't think it's going to be a big change because we're still looking for skills. And when we do our tryouts, mainly we're a developmental team trying to get them to that next level. So we're assessing their skills so that we can decide what we can work with, what we can build, and get them to the NBA, overseas, or wherever they choose to go.
Talking about that building, Coach Johnson, I know you got 3 sons, right?
Yes.
And
correct.
we know you're a superstar, your local hero. Like I said, 1,577 points was that in high school?
Yes.
I gotta keep saying the number because that's a lot of baskets. I'm just wondering, out of your 3 children, do you see anybody who has that Johnson 3-pointer or 2-pointer or whatever it is? Wait, what's your shot? What's your shot? You a 3-pointer, 2-pointer?
Yeah, I'm a 3-pointer, but I can shoot the 2 as well.
Okay, yeah.
But my sons, they're all different in their own way. I think they all take a little bit of me and them. So I'm not, I don't think I can't pinpoint exactly which one is more or can do more, but they all do some things better than others that are similar to what I used to do.
Are any of them hungry for basketball? Do any of them want to play in the NBA?
All 3 of them do. Well, the one is the oldest. He can't. He's not playing anymore. He's in college now, so he decided to stop playing. But my middle one and my youngest one, they have aspirations to play. But I'm trying to push my youngest one. He's a football player as well, so I'm trying to push him to that side that he doesn't always have to play basketball. But who knows? We will see.
Well, was anybody pushing you growing up? I mean, obviously, if you're scoring these kind of points and doing these phenomenal things, was anybody pushing you to play pro, or did you ever dream or think of playing pros when you were younger?
I thought about playing pro the first time I saw MarQus Johnson and Larry Bird in the NBA. And
I used to love that matchup.
And then when Michael Jordan got there, I definitely was like, that's where I want to be. And they drove me in as well as my older brother and my father. They drove me, put that fire in me to try to be the best that I could be. And I tell my sons that all the time is that, while, we're here on the East Coast and while we're, laying around 9 o'clock at night, people on the West Coast are just getting started. So, there's always time to improve. There's always ways you can improve. So I just hope they could just keep that competitiveness inside them.
Yeah. So my mother and father were best friends. I mean, they got married and they became best friends or whatever, but they were best friends. And I just remember growing up, I'm a Knicks person. So I used to watch Walt Frazier and David Butcher and Earl Monroe and that team, right? So when I was growing up, my parents, we lived in East Orange, New Jersey, and my parents had a basketball net on top of the you know what I'm talking about, on top of the garage. And they would go at it. And my mother was the most prissy, prim, proper lady, everything in place. But once she got home, once she put on those shorts, she was like beast. I mean, she was really, really good. And it was so funny that passion and that drive or that love of basketball came from watching my parents. Not so much me wanting to play, because I couldn't have gotten in because they hogged the basketball court. I mean, hogged the driveway with the basketball. But just something about seeing people play with that intensity. And we used to go to the Garden all the time to watch the game because my dad worked he was in finance, but he worked with the sales department, and they always got free tickets to the games. And so, yeah, I mean, when you see it, it just makes you think of excellence, because those guys go out there and they put it all on the court.
Right.
All on the court. Yeah. So, T, have you ever thought about playing basketball?
I'm a girly girl. I did not. I played with my father. I did not play on any team. So I didn't play organized. I just played on outdoor courts with dad just to enjoy some time with him. And that's it. So but I've always been involved with basketball, but just not so much as a player.
Okay. So how did you get the love of basketball to get a team? Like what inspired you to get a team?
Well, when I was in Philadelphia, I was the director of a program called the Academy for Fitness, Health Promotion, and Sports Education. So really, my team is called RDC Vulcans Basketball Program. So in addition to the players, we also take people who have an interest in sports. For example, if you want to be a general manager, president of basketball operations, into sales and marketing, we take them, we put them in them positions so that they can get the experience they need so that they can reach their goals, because getting experience is one of the biggest problems. So we'll take people who are coming in with 3D role play and camera, all types of creativity. And I'm trying to give them, like I said, that level of experience. So we're an entire program, not just a team.
I love it, T. So at age 10, I moved to Parsippany, and in Parsippany, New Jersey, it was really funny. My classmates, they played basketball. I was a basketball statistician. They played basketball, but our coach always encouraged them to learn the game as a whole, like encourage them to learn, learn about statistics. I mean, being a statistician and all the rest, because who knows where life's going to lead you? Who knows where life's going to lead you as you travel along? So, Coach Johnson, I just want to ask you, if you were to leave any nuggets, if there was something that I missed during this conversation that you would like to share with our audience, what would it be?
You alluded to it earlier, where that's my quote that I like to live by, is the chance favors the well prepared. And I always look at with my guys every day is that I tell them, today is a new day, so you have to be better today than you were yesterday, and then try to be better tomorrow than you are today. And that's what I tell my guys we try to strive to be and try to strive to do every day.
Excellent. Excellent. So success looks like putting forth the effort to do better than you did yesterday.
Correct. Yes.
Excellent. I love it. T. Taylor, what is your vision, or what would you like to share with the audience before we part?
Well, of course, my favorite quote, your mind is a pearl. You could do anything in this world. And to back that, I want to say the greatest obstacles you have to climb are those that exist within your own mind. And that's really what holds people back from, I guess, attempting new things. Someone did it before you. You can do it too. So that's my tidbit I like to leave for everyone.
Well, I love what you guys are doing. The hometown flavor, the whole basketball program flavor, about the totality of it, because sometimes even though you have the gumption, even though you have the idea, the goals, the aspiration, sometimes it's your surroundings, right? How much you take in from your surroundings that keep you from moving forward. So when you're in a program that provides, the full arms around embracement, then therefore it gives people a greater platform or more level platform to excel from. So I love what you guys are doing as far as bringing that and making yourselves available and making more options or more opportunities available. Your community, like you said, being local, there's so many things that you get from a hometown base that sometimes you're not able to have access to elsewhere. MarQus is local. We'll make it work for him, right? We're going to make it. We don't make it work for nobody else. We're going to make it work for MarQus because he's local, and I know him, and I knew him when he was little, and I know your mama and your auntie and your grandma. My family's from Cherryville, North Carolina, and it was so funny. Whenever somebody would go down the street, we used to sit on the porch. My mom would say, Now, who's your parents? who your kinfolk? Who you related to? So my uncle knew like generations. He had the whole tree. So, you know, being from a hometown, you have the whole tree, the whole product. And once again, UT with your program, you have the whole package to make sure that people have the support that they need to do, excel, and be the best that they can be. So what I wanted to ask from both of you before we close is, I need your contact information. If somebody wanted to contact you, MarQus, because they wanted to submit their application, apply for a scholarship, play for you, what is your contact information, and maybe one or two of the things that you'd be looking for in particular? Like some people are looking for full film, some people are looking for, you know, testimonials or whatever. What are some things that make you stand out and say, look, that's my guy?
Well, my email will be MB Johnson, JOHNSON, at st-aug.edu. The one thing I would say, if somebody wants to send some film, is to, you know, it's great to send highlights. That's always eye-catching, but also follow it up with a full, complete game. And it doesn't hurt to also send your academics, whether it be your transcript, your SAT score, or transcript from your previous college. So those are the things that I like to look for when people are reaching out to me.
What is your ratio of transfer versus new students? Like, do you bring in a lot of transfers?
It's about 50-50. It varies on the year, but mostly it's 50-50 from transfers to freshmen.
Okay, excellent, excellent. T, if somebody wanted to play for your program, what are some of the things that, what is your contact information and maybe one or two things that you would need them to extend? Contact information first.
Sure. rdcvulcans.com, and once you get to that site, you can click on it. We have a community service page. If anyone wants to increase their involvement in sports, mainly basketball, like I said, there's all types of internships and training programs. Even there's a team ownership training program where I can teach you how to go out and become an owner of a team. And in terms of players, we're developmental. So if you have the skills and this is your dream and what you want to go towards, if that's your goal, then we'll work with you to get you towards that goal. And of course, we're going to pull the best when we do our tryouts. But if you think that you have it, then I'm going to say, come try out and bring it.
Are there any nonprofit components to your business, T?
Yes.
Or is this a for-profit?
No, each one reach one. And that's a program I created myself where our young men actually turn around and they train other young men and we brand them. We don't just have, like I said, it's a whole program. So my players, they go through yoga training. They learn proper ways of stretching prior to workout, post-workout. They learn nutrition. They learn how to give a good interview, how to have a positive image, which is very big in sports these days. So with all that, we have a program where we then take them and teach them how to mentor younger men and ladies as well. And we expected to expand it last summer, but unfortunately COVID closed us down. But we're going to have a lot of networking community opportunities with them, with the Durham Police and Raleigh PDs, and a lot of other good programs to look out for.
So T, if somebody wanted to make a donation or wanted to volunteer or engage with your program, with your nonprofit, how could they make a donation? What would they need to do? Contact information.
RDCVulcans.com. Yes, everything's on the website, and they could click on the program and they could sign up. They could sign up for the newsletter. They could sign up to volunteer, and I will reach out to everyone who connects with me through that method.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much, guys. I think that this was awesome. Was this good or was this, you know? I'm sensitive. Be nice. I think this was an awesome time spent, and I want to thank you so much for your time. I want to thank you for your insight, and I want to thank you for being able to share some nuggets with individuals to help them as they proceed. Like I said, some people are actually going to be coming from their hometown, going to college close to their hometown, and there's so many opportunities for success. doing things locally. And once again, T, as you mentioned, there are some people who are going to be looking to get to that next level with regards to basketball and performance, and you have a platform for that. So again, thank you so much for everything, and I look forward to keep in touch or speaking with you guys soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having
Kelly.
me.
Appreciate it.